Hey, let's have fun and apply these tried and tested corporate best practices at home. I mean, the big corporations have invested tons of money to come up with these best practices. So, why don't we take advantage and use them to run our household? Come on, let's give it a try. SWOT analysis. This is the initial step. Determine the strengths and weaknesses of each member of your household. List down the opportunities that you can use as leverage to properly extract their strengths and analyze the possible threats when your efforts can be sabotaged. Example, if you have 4 members in your household, list down their talents, skills, and physical capabilities to match the corresponding household chores. Try and give them the chores that best identify with their strengths. They will be more efficient and happier doing it. Alongside this analysis, you have to take into consideration their schedule so that when opportunities for house chores become available, this is the time you designate them to accomplish the task. Be mindful of possible threats to your plan, such as their social issues and attitude problems. You might want to resolve this first before you implement your plan. Buy-in and cooperation is crucial. Delegation and segregation of duties and responsibilities based on SWOT. Now that you have determined your SWOT, like a job description, start assigning the new household tasks to everyone, including yourself. My dad was a general in the army, so he ran our household efficiently like a miniature military operation. My eldest sibling, Sonny, had this grandiose idea of raising a chicken farm in our backyard, which my dad immediately approved. In a week's time, we had a 3-layered chicken coop. Sonny was supposed to handle this project, but after several months, he had to focus on his internship or residency, having just graduated from medical school. The job was then distributed among us as follows. My older brother, Glenn, got the stinky side of the deal, literally. He had to wake up at 5:30 a.m. to feed the chickens, clean their water vessels, collect the eggs, and the task that he detested the most, scooping out and cleaning the smelly chicken manure without the benefit of a mask. My older sister, Mila, was in charge of sales and delivery of eggs to the customers. She experienced a lesson that marked her for life, but I'll reveal this at a later video. I was in charge of collecting money and accounting for our egg sales. Later on in life, Sunny and Glenn turned out to have almost like an OCD personality when it came to cleanliness in their households. Mila graduated as a nurse, but she diverted to a sales career and became extremely successful at it, while yours truly became an accountant. You see how early childhood training can affect your kids' future? In the 70s, we moved to a much bigger house in a plush neighborhood with generously sized and fully landscaped Bermuda grass garden. Despite the fact that my dad could have hired a gardener or even used one of his sergeants, my younger brother Ronnie was assigned to pull the weeds that grew prolifically alongside the Bermuda grass. Take note that this sibling was the only one who could get away with mischief, as he prided himself to be the son of the general. Ronnie enticed our cousin John to visit him in the big city of Manila from the province, promising him a fun-filled adventure in the city for the summer. After an exhausting and back-breaking 16-hour-long bus trip, John finally arrived from the province. Ronnie immediately solicited his help in pulling all the weeds in our garden under the watchful eyes of my dad. The general relaxed and reclined in one of the lanai armchairs overlooking the garden, would bark orders every now and then if they missed some areas. Poor cousin John. He was expecting an exciting and adventurous summer vacation in the big city, but ended up on his knees pulling weeds under the sweltering heat of the sun. Later on in life, Ronnie became a pretty smart lawyer who could negotiate his way out of tricky situations. Management training. You can multitask while doing the chores, like listening to informal, educational, or motivational audiobooks.
I will never allow Alzheimer's into my life. She's always said that.
As the CEO for this household, be sure to praise your team members and refrain from derogatory and disparaging remarks that may lower their morale and self-esteem. Your words should only bless, prosper, and heal your members no matter what the outcome of the task is. Good job pulling the weeds, Javi! Well done! Well done, my son! Teamwork. Work as a cohesive team with a common goal. There's nothing more joyful than working in perfect harmony with joy and laughter as a background rather than frowns of disapproval, nagging, and screams. Batching. Try and batch tasks and do them in one scheduled time only, be it laundry, general cleaning, yard work, or even paying your bills. My friend Monette has been a tax manager in one of the big accounting tax firms for the last 3 decades. She is used to deadlines when all the returns are due at the same time. She works from home and certainly knows how to batch her tasks. When I stayed with her for several weeks, I used to do my laundry weekly while she did hers only once a month. When doing household chores, avoid cleaning the floors until you have finished all the cooking, dusted all the furniture, and watered all the indoor plants. I learned this from my contractor who always did the floors last when we were remodeling houses.
Doing a great job,
he said that
Javi.
floors were just going to
Don't
get
forget the
dirty
corners.
and damaged again if he did them earlier. Assembly line method. Factories are run efficiently because of the assembly line method, whereby parts are added to a product in a sequential manner to create an end product. You can apply this with your cooking. Line up your ingredients according to the sequence that they will be used. Assemble them closest to their main destination for efficiency. This will also prevent you from forgetting an ingredient. Maximization of resources. To minimize waste and maximize resources, cut up the expensive ingredients to multiply their quantities. Also, cut up the meat into bite sizes if possible. I was never into cooking growing up. My mom was outstanding in the kitchen and she concocted all these homemade recipes from scratch. And they turned out to be amazing. Following the line of least resistance, I didn't even bother to join her in the kitchen as that was her territory. In the 90s, when I lived with my in-laws, majority of the topics, especially over Sunday brunch, when the family would be together, was about food and cuisine. Finally, I asked my aunt-in-law where I could learn the culinary arts. Being a food connoisseur, a renowned food columnist, and a reputable author of several books on Filipino cuisine, she recommended that I apprentice under one of the young, upcoming and nouvelle cuisine chefs at that time. Under his tutelage, I started in the food prep section, then took early morning visits to the farmer's market for the freshest ingredients. From there, I went on to food dispatching, then working at the bar, and even to ushering guests to their tables. When I was on duty in the kitchen, I was allowed to cook the easy menus, and I got the chance to observe the great chefs in action. I'll never forget what my mentor said during the last leg of my training. He said, "Now that you know the taste of each ingredient and how to make sauces, Your challenge is to create your own concoction from what is available in the pantry and the refrigerator. You have to imagine how the amalgamation of the ingredients will explode in your mouth before you even start. Take into consideration the effect of your very own drops of perspiration into your creation. So today, my mode of cooking will be silently criticized by my brother Ronnie, who is a stickler for the exactness of the recipes and even the uniformity of the cuts. He will be scandalized with the way I have adulterated the recipes. So you see, even if currently your kids don't have the proper skills for the household task yet, this can be easily taught to them as long as they have the right attitude. Just like our hiring process in the office, we hire for the attitude and teach the skills. Check and balance. Lastly, there should be a check and balance in the chores. If I do the cooking, someone else does the taste testing. If my son does the mopping and the weed pulling, I check the final outcome to ensure that there are no missed spots. One can't review his or her own work. Did you enjoy our break? Okay, so please like and subscribe to my channel and put your comments below. Thank you so much. Bye.